In Italy, there's been the biggest daily rise in deaths since the beginning of the outbreak there. Almost 1,000 people have died in the past 24 hours, taking the total number of deaths in Italy to more than 9,000. Well, Mark Lowen is in Rome for us tonight, and this huge increase is in a country that's been locked down now for more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, really shocking figures, Sophie. It's like Italy is losing the equivalent of a village a day. 919 deaths in the past 24 hours. That's over 200 more than the previous one-day rise. In the northern region of Lombardy alone, 540 people have died there in the past day. You mentioned that lockdown that's been in place for over 2 weeks. It is flattening the curve. The infection rate is slowing here, but the progress is slow and it is uneven, and the awful news just keeps on coming. 46 doctors have now died here since the outbreak began. The National Health Institute says Italy has not yet reached the peak, and the nationwide restrictions might have to be extended for several months. Tonight, meanwhile, the Pope gave a special address on a very, very empty St. Peter's Square. He gave his Urbi et Orbi blessing to the city and the world, which he usually only gives at Christmas and Easter, so another sign of the historic times we're in. He talked of the thick darkness enveloping our cities. He said we find ourselves afraid and lost, and he said doctors, nurses and caregivers were exemplary companions on this journey. But in truth, Sophie, Italians are finding it hard at the moment to keep the faith. They are hoping, pleading, many of them are praying for that peak to come.
Mark Lowen in Rome, thank you. In Spain, the number of coronavirus cases continues to increase, with 769 deaths in 24 hours. With so many critically ill patients, it has meant that more and more are dying alone because their families aren't allowed in. It's putting an enormous emotional strain on families and on medical staff, as our correspondent Damian Grammaticus reports from Madrid.
From his bed, he waves, a moment of triumph in a Spanish hospital. He's their first patient well enough to leave intensive care, but the medical staff are the only people there to see it. That's because every new virus patient brought in is immediately